I'm Matt, pronouns they, them, and this is My Desire to Inquire, an interview show. It was at the East Hampton Film Festival's February meetup where I met my first guest, Lindsey DeLand. I had spent just under a year thinking about starting this show, and it was that night that pushed me into finally doing it. The first motivation of the evening was when Lindsey offhandedly mentioned a show she was working on where she had to time out each room to avoid guest congestion. What Lindsey could not have known at the time was my deep love of theme parks. While I recently may have cut the profit-hungry megacorporations out of my life, nothing can remove those childhood drives from New Hampshire to Orlando or my deep, deep love and admiration for Imagineering. I can tell you way more than you want to know about Disney theme parks. So when Lindsey mentioned timing out her show, my brain thought, holy hell, this could basically be like interviewing an Imagineer, which fit perfectly with my concept of this show as I look for people who can bring unique perspectives. The show Lindsey wrote, directed, and is performing in is Murder at the Mansion, a supernatural mystery. Currently, one night only at the S.K. Pierce Haunted Victorian Mansion in Gardner, Mass. Tomorrow, Friday, April 10th. But, as they say in the infomercials, wait, there's more, because the weekend after that EFF meetup, I also watched Dark Places, a film Lindsey starred in that recently premiered on Tubi. If you want, you can pause this right now, go watch Dark Places, and then come back to listen to the interview. Alternatively, Dark Places is also screening April 16th at 7 p.m. at Quonk in Northampton. That will be followed up with a cast and crew Q&A. I apologize that I didn't do a better job of asking Lindsey to set up Dark Places during the interview. So here's the IMDb summary. A troubled college student, Natalie Parker befriends the mysterious Jason Evans, only to be pulled into a world of satanic murder, family trauma, and psychological unraveling. Here's the beginning of the storyline, also from IMDb. Natalie Parker, a shy and sheltered college student, is navigating her new independence while coping with her alcoholic father and overprotective mother. When she befriends Jason Evans, her life takes a chilling turn. Professors are murdered in brutal ritualistic fashion, whispers of a satanic cult spread, and Natalie's own dreams begin to blur with waking hours. As she grows closer to Jason and his family, Natalie uncovers shocking truths. The Evans clan may be at the center of a blood-soaked cult that sacrifices innocence in the name of Satan. But, and I'll leave it there. You have to watch the movie to find out the rest. Anyway, between Dark Places and Murder at the Mansion, a supernatural mystery, the S.K. Pierce show, we have plenty to talk about. So let me get out of the way so that past Matt can begin the interview. Lindsey DeLand, welcome to my kitchen. Apologies in advance for the shy gremlins who are in the shape of adorable cats.
They're so cute. Oh my goodness. I love them.
More importantly, thank you for being the first guest on my show.
Thank you for having me as the first guest on your show.
So, you wrote the show for S.K. Pierce, the Victorian Mansion, and you had to consider guest congestion. Mm-hmm. First, do you also do any sort of directing of that show? And second, if Disney asked you to be an Imagineer, would you do it?
Absolutely. I'm such a Disney person. I've even included elements from like the Haunted Mansion and Tower of Terror into this show itself. Like we have our ghost host guiding people as well. So I kind of took those kind of cool little aspects from the rides and put them in here. But yeah, of course I'd be an Imagineer. I'd love that opportunity. And it was so much fun to like build and create something like this that was so intricate.
Which, of course, I'm going to have a ton of questions for you about. Right now, we're, 4 days away from the premiere when we're recording this. How are you feeling about it?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm very excited.
Nice. Of course, that you are working so hard that you also recently attended a premiere, if I'm correct, right, for your film Dark Places?
Yeah, we actually had two premieres. We had one at Agawam Cinemas, which was amazing, packed audience. It was a full movie theater. It was so incredible. And then we did a Q&A panel after that. We also had a premiere at Westfield State University, which was really cool as well.
So it's almost like you're doing like junkets and stuff, like a professional.
Yeah, I feel like I've been scheduling things left and right. We have three more confirmed premieres for Dark Places as well at other established locations across the area as well. So
I had no idea that you would be planning all of those out when it's already streaming. Like, and from what I hear, the numbers are good and everything, and you're still getting out there and like putting the film in front of people.
Yeah, you got to keep grinding, you got to keep, promoting and marketing and stuff. And I find it really fun just to get all my friends and coworkers and family involved with it. And it's just good to put it out there.
I do have to ask, how do you feel about watching yourself on screen in a room full of people?
You blush a little bit, especially in certain parts of the film. You feel like a sense of pride, but you're also looking around at people's reactions, like constantly, like, okay, how are they enjoying it? How are they liking it? But it's also so cool because I got to have my best friend seated next to me at the first premiere, and watching her reactions to it was priceless. There was this one jump scare, I won't say exactly where in the film, but she was the only one in the audience to scream out loud, and I couldn't stop laughing. It was so great, and it was just so in the moment, too.
That's, that I was so focused on the nerves of being around other people, did not even consider the joy that you could get from watching people react to your performance.
It's like a combination, really. You feel a little nervous at the beginning, but as the audience settles in and really starts watching it, you start to feel that joy of watching other people enjoy what you work so hard creating.
We're going to get back into your past here because you did start in the theater a long time before. And I guess my lead into this would be, I guess, what's the difference in the nerves between being live on stage and having the audience out there versus sitting in the crowd watching yourself on screen?
It's definitely easier to sit and watch yourself. But when it comes to like filming on set and being on theater, you get multiple takes. Granted, you don't want to fuck it up, but at the same time, when you're on stage, you only get one shot to do everything right. And you got audience of hundreds of people watching you live. It's so different from film. And making that adjustment from theater to film was actually kind of challenging.
Yeah, so what was it like? Can you tell me about it?
Yeah, so with theater, there's so much more, I shouldn't say more expression, but more outwardly body movements, I feel like. And TV and film, you really have to compress all that, especially with the minute details in your face and stuff. You really have to make it less exaggerated, less over the top. Theater's all about projection and giant displays of emotion. And TV and film, you really have to make that, because you have these close-ups on you, and you have to really condense all that and make it true and believable, like you're watching someone sitting right in front of you.
I guess that's fair. I hadn't really thought so much of theater is musicals, and how I forget how it's exactly described as like the songs coming out of musicals is when it's the emotion is too much for the character, and so like that's the only way that they can express it, which obviously at that point does become a little bit bigger than you would normally have. Mm-hmm. So when did you start in theater?
So I've been doing theater technically since I was like 4 years old. I've been doing community theater at Westfield Theater Group for about 10 years. I did it from about probably 2015 to like 2021, 2022. So actually I should say 10 different shows rather than 10 years. But with that experience, I don't think I would have been able to do film and stuff because I needed to have that like foundation of acting. And I learned that through all my years in the theater.
What was your first role?
Oh, geez. Are we talking like school plays, or do you want to talk like community theater plays?
Both.
I'd say my first real acting role was this ridiculous princess named Princess Tiffany. And she was this princess that liked to tell lies and exaggerate everything. And basically, it was like a spoof on Cinderella a little bit, but I was dressed in this giant poofy dress, and I just had to fake faint everywhere and be like, oh, woe was me. Like, she's a little princess that cried wolf. And I'll still always remember that role because that was like, I felt like that was my acting start.
For sure. And I mean, that's one where we're just talking about, on the stage being more exaggerated. Yes. And I imagine that role is even more exaggerated than that.
Absolutely. And another role that I had, this was in community theater. This was back when I was 16. I got to play Josephine in Big Fish, which was really amazing. Mind you, I was 16 playing a pregnant woman. And by the end of the show, I had an 8-year-old child. So it was absolutely so much fun to play, and such a great cast too. Oh my gosh.
That's amazing. I didn't know they had turned that into a stage play.
Yeah. I think I'm not sure the order of this because I know the movie with Ewan McGregor, but I'm not sure what came first, the musical or the movie.
Yeah, so. No, I'm honestly not sure. I'm pretty sure there was a book first, so I wouldn't be surprised if either came honestly. Out after that. When you were younger, were there roles that you were drawn to, or was it just more kind of like, well, it's acting, so?
I kind of just auditioned for whatever I could. I stuck mostly locally in Westfield, so I would do school plays and I would do Westfield theater group plays, and that was about it for a long time. For some reason, in middle and high school, I was cast as all guys in every single role that I played. I was the comedic relief guy that would do, for the longest time, I was typecast as the comedic relief. And it's so weird because now every single film role I've done is straight up horror, straight up thriller, main character, final girl type stuff. And it's so cool to be able to make that switch into that genre, which is really fun.
Obviously, I can imagine there's a whole bunch of things that you would want to try out, but is there anything in particular that is high on your list to try?
Are you talking dream roles?
Yeah, well, I mean, just from a genre perspective, because you mentioned, being on the stage and then switching over to horror. And so now switching from going from horrors, where would you like to go next in genres?
Recently, we just wrapped filming on this. I did a student film, Riley Cosby, this local filmmaker. He's actually in the East Hampton Film Festival. I just finished a movie with him called Izo, and I play a crazy psycho killer. And the fight choreography in that was so much fun to do. It makes me want to do more action movies. So I really want to do more stunt work, more fight choreography. I like holding a knife and fighting with a knife. It's so cool. And it's so cool to learn the fight choreography because it's so much different than dancing and being up on stage and doing all the dance choreography for musicals. And yeah, I think more action films would definitely be the route I want to go.
What kind of, without getting into spoilers, obviously, what kind of fight choreography did you have to learn? And also, I've not heard of that on a local set dealing with fight choreography.
Yeah, it was so cool. So we kind of did it unofficially on campus. I got to do this cool elevator knife fight scene. And I don't know if you've ever seen the Bucky Barnes knife flip thing in The Winter Soldier, how he does the knife choreography. It was almost a lot like that, and I got to do the knife drop, catch, and stab thing. So I loved it so much. I was like, oh my God, this is the coolest I've ever felt. And I'm like, oh my God, it's like Bucky Barnes. And yeah, I definitely want to do more of that.
We're already into your film acting. So your first film was Are You Alone in the House, which I knew you had starred in. I thought I had heard something about you writing it, and I did not know that you also directed it. So let's start with how that comes together.
I met Josh purely by chance through my amazing teacher, Mr. Forney, that I worked with because I went to tech school. So I was a communication student at Westfield Technical Academy. So I met Josh through him. And then I just pitched him this random script that I wrote at 3 a.m. in the morning on a random night. I just had this idea that came to me. I was like, hey, Josh, do you think we could film this? And he said yes. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm actually going to be able to make a short film. This is so cool. Never acted on film, never done anything like that. And all of a sudden I was just thrown into the fire and I couldn't have been happier. And he took most of the reins on directing, but he kind of let me do some directorial stuff as well. But it was just so cool. We filmed that in just a day. It took only a day to film that, which was really cool.
You already answered my next question. I was going to ask, how long did it take to shoot? So you said it was a day. Was it a long day? How much of a day was it?
It was pretty long. Not too long, though. I feel we wrapped relatively early, because sometimes shooting goes to, the next day into the AMs. So we started around 9 or 10, and we wrapped around, I think, 5 or 6. So it wasn't bad at all. It was really good.
Yeah.
And it was so cool. And it was cool because we kind of improvised some stuff on set. We changed some stuff oh, would it be cool if we did this instead of this? And I was like, yeah. No, I'm loving all of this. And I think the end result was really cool.
You can go watch this on Josh DeForge's YouTube, Running Scared Motion Pictures, where he also hosts a podcast that Lindsey has been on.
I love podcasts.
You had that thought at 3 a.m. And how much later was this that the day happened that you put it together and do a movie?
So the script took maybe a day or so to write. And then I sent it to Josh, and we probably filmed like maybe, I'm trying to remember the time frame because this was already 2 years ago, maybe a few weeks after. We had to plan some stuff, of course, get casting in order. But yeah, we filmed pretty quickly after I sent him the script.
And then how quickly was it before you saw a cut of the film?
Oh, he got it done super quick, like within maybe less than a week, I'd say. He got it done really quickly, and it was amazing. And then we sent it into the East Hampton Film Festival. And it was so much fun because we got to do a panel on it too, talking about it and talking about our love of horror movies as well, because it was like a women in horror panel. So it was really fun.
I mean, it sounds like you're very happy with how that turned out. Like, what did you learn from the experience? What was the biggest takeaway that you had from it?
I think just getting the feel of what it was like to be on set was a really good experience because I was so nervous. I was like, don't fuck this up, don't fuck this up. And if you look at my acting then and compared to now, I think there's a huge difference because I feel like I've grown a lot as an actress since then. Because yeah, that's going to be over 2 years now. Being in front of a camera, getting that experience and being able to like write something and actually have it come to life was just the coolest thing ever, in my opinion. What have you worked on since? Like, what other projects have come along? I've done a bunch of like little things here and there. I did a PSA video for the state of Connecticut. It was basically what to do when you're pulled over. And I had kind of just gotten my license recently. They're like, can you drive a car? I was like, yeah, I can drive a car. But little did I know, they wanted me to like back up into cones before every start. And there was oncoming traffic in the other lane. Like they closed out a lane on like this busy road. And I'm like trying to back into these little cones. Mind you, Connecticut police is like right behind me. We shot with actual police officers. And I'm like, oh my God, please don't crash into another car. Please don't crash. Because it was such a nice car they gave me. But yeah, that was such a fun day on set. And I think you could still find the video on like the Connecticut State Police page or something like that. They did a news segment on it too. It was really cool. They needed to get the footage of you. They couldn't have had like a more professional driver like back the car in and get that footage. And nope. Nope, because it would like the shot would go right into me getting pulled over. So the police would drive behind me, stop, and then immediately get out and like talk to me. So I guess they needed me to back the car in. But it was such a fun experience. It was a great group of people. And yeah, that was like a very professional set because it was more commercial based rather than like creative film based, but still really fun. What of your previous experience do you think helped you the most going into Dark Places? My love of horror movies. Like I've studied, I've analyzed them, and just taking bits and pieces from each of the horror movies that I love as inspiration for this character really helped. Also, I've been doing some really cool acting classes at Westfield State University, thanks to the help of my professor, Eric Parness. He's been really helping me like just develop my skill set and growing as an actress. What kind of skills do you develop through that process? It's more of like a mentality sort of thing on how you approach acting, because you want to get into a mindset where you're in character, you're fully committing to the bit, but you also have one hand on the controls where you're like thinking about the logistics of everything. And it's really hard to get to that point. But I've been training, I've been trying, and trust me, I am not fully there yet. But then again, no one really is. So I've just been trying to work at it. Again, practice makes perfect. The more you act, the more you do, I feel like the better you get at it. And certainly I would imagine you're filling up a reel right now too. So that's always helpful. Oh yeah. How did you hear about Dark Places? How did it come together? How did you get the role? So we were working on a rom-com before then, a rom-com feature film. And me and my co-star were sitting on a bench filming a scene. And my director, he's like, Gina McGaughy, he's watching us. He's like, you know what? I have a really fucked up idea for these two. He literally wrote the script of Dark Places on the set of Love Spell while he was working on the rom-com. He wrote it with us in mind, which was so cool. I've never had anyone write a script, mind you, a feature-length script with me in mind for the lead role. And it was so cool because he wrote it kind of based on me, and he had known me a little bit by now. So he wrote it with like certain things in mind. And we filmed the rom-com in the spring. That fall, we filmed Dark Places, which was awesome. So you had already been on one feature-length film. How long was the shoot for that one? a month or so.
Dark Places, I believe, was over a month, 4 weekends.
Yeah, a little over a month, I believe. Because we started in about September and we went into a little bit into October as well. The night we wrapped, we started and it was like 80 degrees out. We were roasting our butts off. And then when we ended on like a 20-degree night and we were all freezing. And me and this other actress were in nightgowns and running through the woods and in the grass and stuff. I was like, oh my God, get me my Snuggie. I'm so cold.
Unfortunate that the scenes had to be filmed in that order.
Yeah, it's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. Weather's unpredictable. You got to suck it up and do it. We had a fire going. It was nice. We made s'mores.
Without spoiling anything about the movie, where your character's supposed to be out for those scenes, I could see the cold being a little bit motivational to
do well.
to performance.
One and done. Okay, let's go inside. I think the cold really made some of the scenes come to life because there's this one scene I'm outside on the ground and the camera angle is perfect and you can see my breath just coming out of my mouth. And you wouldn't have gotten that if it wasn't cold outside. So I was like, ooh, this is cinematic. Okay, I see the vision. And, you wouldn't have gotten it if it was just a 70-degree night.
Which, and that's the type of thing that, someone could always come back and be like, oh, we can do that in post. But, it's nicer when you come across that stuff on the set.
Famous last words. We'll do it in post.
Yes. Okay, so the character was basically written for you. Did that make it easier to then find the character that you wanted to play for the role?
Yes. It wasn't written with my personality, though. Natalie, she's very introverted. She's very kept to herself, which I can be sometimes, and I did take that aspect of me, but a lot of people know I'm extroverted. I put myself out there. I'm kind of a social butterfly, especially like in college and stuff. But for this character, you have to take like certain aspects of yourself and like relate it to the characters. Like, okay, as Natalie, I feel this way. I am this way. And it kind of helps with the process.
Did you have any particular acting inspirations for the role?
If I say it, I feel like I'm going to spoil some stuff.
Which is fair. We can keep that under wraps.
I did. I took inspiration a lot from Scream for this. Definitely from Scream. A few other movies too, but if I name those, I feel like I'm going to spoil some stuff. Neve Campbell's performance in particular, I took some inspiration from. And also I feel like Dark Places is a lot like Scream, but more cultish, if that makes sense. Because the whole time you're trying to figure out, who's under the mask? Who's behind the cult? In that aspect, it's a lot like those kind of slasher films.
What is your line memorization process like?
It's me like walking around my room like a psycho, repeating it over and over again. It's just repetition. The more you repeat it, the more. And you're still going to blank. There's still sometimes you can like read it off as many times as you want and you get to set and your mind just completely blanks. It happens. But also, too, I try to remain open once I'm on set. Like, okay, I have the lines memorized, but how I'm going to say them, I like to react to my scene partner. I don't like to have, like, a set way of how I'm going to do things. I'm very into truth of the moment where you feel it out on set and you do what feels natural and truthful to the character and to the circumstances in your scene. I feel like every take feels different. It might be different. Depends on what my scene partner is giving me.
Absolutely. Well, and that's obviously what directors and editors are there for too, right? The director to step in and say, hey, can you pull back or, give a little bit more here?
And I love when like directors give me notes. Like, I hate when it's like, be more angry, but like, no, be more like, be direct with your directions. And I love when directors really know the characters that they're directing and will like guide you into their vision and what they want.
I forget why this came up. I'm going to jump ahead to a question I know I have a little bit down the line because you had mentioned on Josh's show that I think it was Riley who was the first director you would work with who had done something with your hair or even like considered what had to be done with your hair. So A, I want just to have you kind of recount that here, but then B, also like what are things, especially on these small sets that like around here people are working on, what are things that directors just don't think about that maybe they should spend a little bit more time thinking about?
Definitely hair and costuming. It's too many times because I don't have the most interesting wardrobe. I wear flannels, sweatshirts, and like athletic wear. That's pretty much it. I like when directors go above and beyond and pick out cool costuming. I mean, for Dark Places, I had this amazing intricate nightgown that Gino picked out for me. I thought was really cool. Sometimes it's just due to lack of budget, lack of people and resources. It's hard to get hair and makeup, so I normally just do my hair and makeup myself. And I'll come with it brushed, straightened, nice and neat, and they'll be like, oh, that's perfect. So yeah, almost all the films I'm in, my hair's down, it's straight, boring. But, that's all I can really do. I try to curl it, flatten. Riley goes like, I want something different with your character. How about space buns? And I'm like, yes, let's fucking go. I love it. And it came out so cool. They put like these olive like pins in my hair, and it really brought the character to life. And another cool thing that Riley did is, so I'm part of like the Psycho Girl trio in this film, but we're kind of like the Powerpuff Girls, where we have our own unique color and unique like vibe to our character. We're like a mix of like the Hex Girls, the K-pop Demon Hunter trio I like to compare ourselves to, and even the Chipettes, because like we're like just that kind of trio where we're each like a different vibe and a different color, and I think that's really cool, and it makes the film pop with color.
So are you Blossom, Bubbles, or Buttercup?
I don't know. I always forget which one's which.
Honestly, I do too.
Yeah, I like if I see them, maybe I know, but like off the top of my head, I don't know.
Yeah, I know them better by voice actors than which character is which. So anyway.
Yeah, that's real.
On the subject of makeup and everything like that, would you, if you were presented a role where you had to spend like 4 hours every morning getting makeup applied to play that role, is that something that you would do?
Absolutely. I think that's so cool. Like, I love seeing like time-lapse videos of actors in the makeup chair and they're getting all this cool special effect makeup. Like I watched recently Jacob Elordi in the makeup chair for Frankenstein, and like the giant process it took just to make him look like the creature. I was like, oh, that's so cool. Oh my gosh. And yeah, I'd sit through that just to look all cool, creepy, or like, bloodied up and stuff. I love gore as well. Gore is really cool, like the makeup gore that people do.
I think that is a terrific skill that people have.
I applaud anyone who does that.
A weird memory just popped in my brain that Hugo Weaving hated the makeup experience of Captain America so much, he didn't show up for Endgame, but by Endgame, they were just digitally putting stuff on everyone. He wouldn't even have to go through it. He had burned that bridge so far. Anyway.
Yeah, no. I love Marvel. I love Marvel fun facts. Oh, I meant to tell you, on another one of Riley's films, his zombie movie, Mercy, Queen of the Undead, he did zombie makeup for me. So I got to experience that a little bit for his film. I was a zombie extra. He called me up. He knew I was busy, but he's like, hey, are you available this one day? I need some zombies. I was like, hell yeah, I'll be a zombie. It was so cool. One of my friends came in, did my makeup, and it looked so good. I was like, oh my God, I actually look like a zombie. Then we walked out onto the streets of Westfield, scaring all the drivers passing by. Like, is that a fucking zombie? Oh my God. And yeah, it was a really cool experience.
When you have to shoot on the weekends, how is balancing that with all your other responsibilities in life?
Actually, weekends are usually better. That's the only time really I can shoot, because I'm also a full-time college student. I can usually do evenings, weeknights. My schedule's all color coordinated and stacked upon each other, and I always immediately have to type something into my schedule as soon as I hear it, or else I'm going to forget about it. But yeah, weekends is usually when I film for people. Like when we did Dark Places, we shot all on weekends, Saturdays and Sundays, all day.
How limited were you on takes?
What do you mean by limited? Like,
were you limited to we're in a hurry, we only have 3 takes per shot, or did you have a little more freedom than that, or was it also hey, for this particular scene we have more room for takes than this particular scene?
A little bit. There were some times where there were time crunches, but Gino doesn't really rush things. He knew that the actors needed the time to make it good and stuff. We would do multiple takes for scenes. There was only a few times where we did a one and done sort of thing. He respects us, and sometimes he'll even let us improvise a little bit. So thanks to his scheduling, we had plenty of time to record stuff.
Good with the improvisation with the I'm forgetting the technique that you were just talking about finding the truth in the moment.
Yes.
I imagine those two work well together.
Absolutely. And I've done some improv in the past as well. It's really fun, improv comedy and stuff, but it's also very practical to actors. I love when directors are okay, just do this one for fun. Have fun with it. Try something new. And sometimes you can get really good takes out of it. I'm not going to spoil anything, but the end scene in Dark Places, that ending scene, all improvised. None of it was scripted.
Really?
Yeah. So Gino, just rolling the camera, he said, just go for it. Do something. Do whatever you want. And I didn't know it yet, but that would become the final scene of the movie before credits would roll.
So you've got to be feeling pretty good about that.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this is so cool. I didn't know. And just, I had no idea what was really going on. They just put a light on me, and it was kind of trippy filming it because like the lighting was so weird in that scene. And little did I know it would become like the big boom at the end of the movie.
Do lights ever get to be a problem for you? Because sometimes they can be really bright.
Sometimes, yes. Sometimes you can get a headache working all day under bright lights if you're doing scenes all day. Because I remember when we were shooting at the house towards the end, those house scenes, we were shooting for very long periods of time. And just under all the lights, I was starting to feel like really nauseous and stuff. And I think it's just the exposure sort of thing. Don't look directly into the light. I've made that mistake one too many times. Don't stare into the light. Like, especially when they turn it on, I look and I'm like, ooh, pretty light. I'm like, oh, crap, I did it again. I'm like a moth.
I will see someone's hand reaching up to the light and look over like, what's that snap?
What's that? Yep. Squirrel.
Exactly. Was there anything that you felt either positive or negative about the role that felt particularly challenging?
Like in dark places?
In dark places,
okay.
Yes.
I think some of the physical stuff was a little challenging at times, knowing kind of how to do that and what approach to take to it. I think also, too, just all the different environments, all the different locations we were in to kind of like, okay, recenter myself, recenter your character, and kind of stick with the character the whole time, even though we filmed it through like a course of like a whole month, even over a month. So that was a little tricky at times.
And I imagine you shot pretty non-linearly too, so you've got to be bringing the character at different points. Yeah,
that was a little tough. But, you work with it, you adapt, you overcome. So many positives. All the fight sequences were really fun to film. It was such a great cast too. We had so much fun on set, so many great memories. We were always laughing. We were always fucking around and just like messing with each other. I won't explain the background for this necessarily because it takes a lot of like inside knowledge, but my nickname on set is Clipboard. And anyone needs me for the scene, they just yell clipboard and I'm there.
I think any nickname that you get that very clearly has some sort of story behind it is it was a good set to be working on.
Absolutely. One of my actually probably my favorite film experience. It was so cool. Such a great story and plot line as well. And Natalie was like a once in a lifetime character. I feel like she was just, I've never played a character so unique and so like complex like her before. And it was really cool.
I have not said this on microphone yet. I've told you before. I think you gave a very professional performance. I think you have a whole lot of talent. How has the feedback been?
You're always going to have your critics and stuff. It's low budget indie. I think overall the reviews have been really positive. All of my friends and family who have come to things, they're like, wow, that was so cool. Like, oh my gosh, that ending was amazing. Like, wow, that was so much fun to watch. And it's doing really well on Tubi. Recently, I think it's like close to 200,000. I think that's really, really awesome. But yeah, I think overall the feedback's been positive.
Do you have any other acting projects on the horizon right now?
A few potential short films that I can't really get into, but I've also been doing dinner theater and immersive theater, both with Brick Road Productions, which is the production company behind the S.K. Pierce Mansion that I've been working with, and also through Quonk Northampton. So I've been doing a lot of shows and stuff with them as well.
Well, I mean, I think that is a pretty perfect segue to take us to the next portion of the show.
Yay.
So I guess first, anything else that you would like to say about Dark Places before we move on?
Yes, it's streaming on Tubi. Go watch it.
And if you want the live environment, April 16th, you can see it and have a Q&A afterwards. So if I didn't ask a question that the listener might want to hear, go to the Q&A.
Absolutely. Ask yourself. And if you check out my Facebook page or Insta page or Quonk Northampton's page, you should find the date, the location, and everything else you might need for it.
And what would be your handle where people could find you online?
Yes. So my Instagram handle is at Lindsey the Nerd, spell Lindz, the Nerd. And my Facebook handle is just my name, Lindsey DeLand, spelled with an E. Everyone spells my name with an AY. I'm like, no, it's EY. Get it right.
If you want to hang out with Lindsey in video format, you can check out @MyDesireToInquire on Instagram or TikTok. Over the course of the day this episode comes out, I will be releasing 3 videos that we did. You can hear about Lindsey's dream project, her 5 favorite scenes, as well as the Final Girl Final 4. I put together a list of 16 of the most notable Final Girl films, maybe a couple asterisks in there, and asked Lindsey to narrow it down to one. Which final girl will be the final girl? Gonna be honest, wish I had come up with that last line before we recorded the social media video. Anyway, coming up next, we'll talk about Murder at the Mansion, a supernatural mystery. There will also be a cameo from one of the cat-shaped gremlins who occupies my home when Spectre thuds down on the floor for attention. So lots of fun still to come. Hey everyone, this is not an advertisement. I just looked up stuff that's happening across Pioneer Valley the weekend of April 10th, 2026. So here's a couple of the things that I found. For the entire month of April, kids get in free at Old Sturbridge Village, which I'm not entirely sure what that is, but I'm pretty sure I see goats in this picture. So if there's goats there, it's got to be a win, and you can use Kid 26 to bring in 2 kids not already covered under membership at Old Sturbridge Village. Western Mass Comedy presents Ladies of Comedy at Abandoned Building Brewery in East Hampton on Friday, April 10th. It starts at 8 p.m. sharp in the Living Room Tap Room. I might have to go over and check that one out. It's also Six Flags opening weekend this weekend, which I wouldn't normally mention something that big, but I'm newish to the area. I didn't even realize there was a Six Flags here. And so apparently they're having an opening weekend if you're looking for something to do. In Hartford, there's a Harriet Beecher Stowe workshop on April 11th from 10 a.m. till noon. History is happening before our eyes, and with our new program, the Stowe Center wants to give you the space to use your words to make your impact. Make the World Right allows you to write in Harriet Beecher Stowe's Hartford home. For 2 silent hours in Stowe's parlors, be with history and let it empower you and guide you to write for our times. Be with history. Be a literary activist. I was also unaware that there's apparently a Norman Rockwell museum, and the second Saturdays are for families. So April 11th from 10 a.m. till 4 p.m., inspired by the Illustrators of Light exhibition, kids and family can now explore how Norman Rockwell and other artists captured attention and sold ideas through illustration. These artists didn't just tell stories, they designed advertisements to make products irresistible and showcase everyday life in captivating ways. Take a tour with one of our educators to learn more, then see if you have what it takes to create an eye-catching advertisement just like the masters. And finally, the Clark Institute has free Sunday, April 12th from 11 a.m. till 4 p.m. Artist Books Day. Artist Book Day is an annual celebration at the Clark honoring the library's diverse collection of over 5,000 artist books. Artist books are works of art inspired by the form or concept of a book. They can take the form of a traditional book or challenge the boundaries of what a book can be. Again, that's the Clark Institute, April 12th, 11 a.m. till 4 p.m. That's some of the stuff that I found that is happening in the area this weekend. Now back to the show. All right, so Lindsey, the reason that we ended up here was because you wrote a show where you had to think about the timing of each room. So this is at the S.K. Pierce Haunted Victorian Mansion. I just pulled this from the website. With 21 rooms, 6 staircases, a looming tower, and nearly 150 years of documented tragedy, the S.K. Pierce Mansion stands as one of New England's most notoriously haunted locations. So if you want to head to Gardner, Mass., if you're curious, I hear there might even be some tickets available for an upcoming show called Murder at the Mansion, a supernatural mystery?
Yes, that would be right.
So how did this come together? How did you end up writing a show for a haunted Victorian mansion?
I started working and acting for this amazing group called Brick Road Productions, and they had been doing dinner theater at the S.K. Pierce Mansion for a little while, and so they had connections with them. And S.K. Pierce was asking Brick Road Productions for more of an immersive show with potentially moving parts, but they wanted guests to enter rooms and such. So I came up with this idea. I was like, hey, I told my boss, Ray, and I was like, hey, I could write a script for you. Like, I could come up with some, they're like, make it like maybe clue-based, something like that. I was like, I got you. So as soon as I heard like this could be for a Victorian haunted mansion. I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. I have to take this opportunity to write this. And yeah, I did. I spent like about a week or so writing the baseline for it, writing the characters. My inspiration for the characters, though, were from this show called Ghosts. I don't know if you've heard of that.
The CBS one? The new
yes,
one?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I wanted a lot of different ghosts from different time periods who all died in the mansion at different points in different time periods. So we have a patriot from the 1770s who died there before the mansion was even built. We have an old Hollywood actress who was stabbed in there. We have a 70s hippie who a chandelier fell down on. Like, we have all these crazy, larger-than-life, kooky characters all come together. And yeah, it's this giant murder mystery thing, which is really cool.
I don't believe I knew that just entirely from inception, this was your idea. Mm-hmm. So approaching it as a mystery, how is that compared to just writing in general?
You have to be very intricate with it because you want to put the guests into the role of a detective. You want them to feel like they're cleverly solving things. You got to be, like a sleuth yourself when it comes to writing these. And I don't know if you've seen Knives Out, any of the Knives Out movies. I love those movies so much. So I was like thinking like, okay, it's got to be intricate. Each of them have to have a motive. It has to be like really realistic. And, there has to be like depth with it. And so it took a while to figure out the beginning, middle, and ending and all the moving parts too. That didn't come naturally. Originally, it was just a stagnant script. But I knew I had to add another layer to it.
Did you do any sort of visualization as you were laying it out, or was this more coming together in your mind and just on the page?
So my dad actually helped me a little bit. He came up with the idea of having each spirit in the room and possibly rotating it. And I figured and then bouncing off of him, I was like, oh, we could have them on like an 8-minute rotation. And then after the 8 minutes are done, each guest's group goes to the next room and then so on. So everyone's in a room at the same time. I was like, yes, I got it. Thank you, Dad. And from there, I just kept writing. And the ending's really cool because, I won't give it away. There's these cool killer monologues and everyone has a very satisfying ending, which is really cool.
Yeah, obviously, I would love to hear about, but we cannot spoil that.
No.
There are still tickets available if someone would like to, maybe purchase it and go see a show this Friday night.
Yes, tickets are limited. Get your spots now.
You said 8 minutes per room.
Yes.
Once you set that target, were there any rooms that was like, oh, can't this be any longer? Or conversely, any rooms that's like, how do I get this to be 8 minutes? This spirit isn't that interesting.
So how we do it is actually really cool. We have a lot of staff members at the SK Pierce Mansion who are helping us. They are literally setting an 8-minute timer as soon as they step into the room. So each of the spirits have a combination of scripted material and improv material because the guests ask them questions. So they're informed by our ghost hosts, Jefferson. In the beginning, as everyone groups around the stairs, he does a bit of a monologue and, oh, I've been murdered. Who killed me? And so then the guests are sent off to interrogate each of the spirits. And they're told they get 8 minutes and they have a list of questions to ask the spirit, and then they get to ask their own questions.
Okay, so I was glad you specified that they do have a list, because one of my first questions was going to be, what if a guest just has nothing but bad questions? Because I might be that guest.
Well, that's why I wanted to combine a bit of improv with a bit of scripted material, because my whole thing is focus on the characters. There's the scripted stuff, but I really want the characters to bond with the guests. So they have the questions to ask first. Oh, hello.
Hi, Spectre.
We have the questions that are established and asked first. And then after, they're allowed to ask follow-up questions or interact with the spirit. And each spirit has their own potential improv things that they can do with guests. I won't give away what they do, but they have set instructions, set tasks that they could possibly do and make up on the spot.
How many spirits do you have? Or I guess how many rooms?
We have 6 rooms, 6 different groups. It'll be about 10 people in each group, which is, there's more than enough space in each room. And yeah, people are going to be constantly moving. And with the timer, we hope to keep things pretty timely so no one group is waiting for another group to leave. So that's why we have the set time. Groups are going to keep moving. We have the staff members to keep everyone on track. And we're hoping for a very smooth, very fun performance.
So it's not necessarily a linear experience for the guests. They could go to any room in any order.
No, not necessarily. So we have group 1 starting at room 1. Group 2 starts at group 2, and then they go to the next one. So group 1 will go to room 2, and then 3, and then 4, and then 6 will go to 1, so that people are on like a rotating thing, so that there's not too many people in one room at once.
Yeah. I'm assuming it's Brick Road who are playing all the spirits, or are there people, anyone from the SK? You said the people from the SK Pierce are timing it. Are they doing any of the acting?
No, so it's all Brick Road people, but also I pulled in my co-star from Dark Places, Jake. He's amazing, and he's going to play one of the ghosts as well. So yeah, it's all Brick Road actors. Amazing cast. I'm so excited for this. They're going to kill it. Each of them really fit the characters, and we all have, like, I made these elaborate, like, maps. So each guest is going to get a paper of what group they're in, which room they start in, and pictures of each of the characters. So I put, like, colors behind them to make them look like clue characters. So, like, my character has a purple background. Another character has, like, a red background. Another one has a green background. So they all look like little pieces on a game board almost.
That's not only clever to make it like Clue, but also just smart to make it visually distinctive like that.
Yes.
So yeah,
there's handouts handed to each guest. Will get a handout, a map of where they start and where they need to go. And they will also get a question sheet of the questions to ask and what order to ask them in.
Did you think you'd ever write a show for a haunted mansion?
No. This is literally like such a dream come true for me. I grew up watching Scooby-Doo, and I feel like I'm literally like writing a script for a Scooby-Doo mansion right now. Little me is like screaming, crying right now. It's like a haunted playground for a writer, you know? There's so much area of possibilities, and now I'm even getting more ideas in mind for potential scripts in the future that I could pitch to these amazing people who work at the SK Pierce Mansion, because it is such a beautiful, beautiful mansion, and I just see so many possibilities with it.
We talked a little bit about the idea that, because this is one night only, but potentially if this works out, would you hope for something that ran for like a couple weeks? Because obviously if you're all playing parts in it, you don't necessarily want too much of a time commitment, but if something ran for like a month or something.
Absolutely. And I'm hoping like maybe they'll invite us back next year, possibly, because the script works pretty much only at the SK Pierce Mansion, but depending on other locations, I could make it work for other places if there's other rooms and stuff. Like another venue, it would have to be like a rotating spot with a bunch of different rooms to stick people in, but you know, hopefully the script gets performed again some other time.
That's interesting. I hadn't considered that. And with you being the owner of that, you need someone who has 6 rooms, right?
Yeah.
That's essentially what you're looking for.
The possibilities are endless.
So I guess with that in mind, not limiting yourself to just SK Pierce, like are you actively looking to write more things like this?
Oh, absolutely. I love writing. I'm working on even a feature screenplay right now. I won't get too much into it. It's based off of Greek tragedy, but a modernized retelling of it. But I just love writing, and getting the opportunity to write these really cool, intricate plays and scripts and stuff. Just, I don't know, it always makes me really happy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, again, with you having to time out each room, again, I guess it was a choice at this point. Can you think of any ways that you would even try and challenge yourself further if you were to continue doing projects, something like this?
Yeah, I try to add more of a game aspect to it as well. Try to make a way to win or something, make it more competitive, because I'm a very competitive person, and I'd love to see that be played out into an actual like script.
Would you ever author an escape room?
Yeah, I love escape rooms. It's so cute, actually. My little brother, he actually made an escape room for us for Easter the other day. Actually, yesterday. It was so cute. And yeah, I love escape rooms. They're so much fun.
I hadn't thought of an Easter Bunny escape room before. But...
Oh, no, this was Mario themed. It had nothing to do with Easter. He's just like, guys, I have an escape room for all of you guys. I'm like, okay.
That's awesome. How was it? How was the experience?
It was great, yeah.
5 stars?
5 stars, absolutely. I won, so yes, 5 stars.
Perfect. Is there anything else that you can tell us about the writing process for this show? Or I guess at this point too, again, for even the acting or anything that you are doing for it?
Yeah, I'm very excited. I play the old Hollywood actress star who was stabbed. So getting into character for that, it's been really fun. Coming up with the character costume and design, like I thrifted this beautiful dress from the thrift store. I have like fake cigarettes and stuff. It's been really fun just to picture these characters and now see them come to life. And finally have my own cast is just really cool because this is the first time I've directed a theatrical play as well. So
you got this nice dress and then did you ruin it with bloodstains?
No. So what we're doing actually is really cool. We're going to do ghost makeup on our faces to show that we're undead. We have this amazing makeup artist, Jess, coming in, and she's going to make us up like ghosts.
This is true. I just asked you earlier about, like, what do you think people should think more about on set? And here you're talking about all this costume design and makeup and everything.
Oh, yeah. So what I did is to everyone, I sent Pinterest images of what I had in mind for their character. I was like, hey, try to get this. I have pieces like our Patriot Thomas, who's played by Dave. He's an amazing actor. He actually works at the Lizzie Borden house. I'm letting him borrow my Patriot costume that I wore to Hamilton. And he's going to be wearing that. So I was like, hey, if you guys need costume pieces, I'm going to help you guys out. Try to come up with this if you can, and show me pictures of what you got. And everyone just came through in the best way. They did their best and everyone looks amazing.
So
I was going to say, I'll have to show you some of the pictures after, some of the characters as well.
Yes, absolutely. And anything that you want to send that I can put on social media too.
Absolutely. Yeah, I can send you some promotional stuff as well, and some pictures and stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You leaned into the one other question that I had to ask you, and it doesn't actually have to do with S.K. Pierce as much. Once again, to go back to Josh's podcast, I heard you're into cosplay. So speaking of costume design, who have you cosplayed as? What are some of your favorite characters?
Oh, I love this question. My favorite cosplay I've done is definitely Wanda Maximoff, Scarlet Witch. That's probably been my favorite.
So just quick question, like the red headband with like the W, or what Wanda were you doing?
I was doing from WandaVision, her look in the finale there when she's taking on Agatha. It's probably my favorite look of hers. I don't know, Multiverse of Madness is pretty cool too. But again, I had that cosplay before Multiverse of Madness even came out. I have her wig and everything. Like that is, I've even done parties for kids as her, dressed as that too. That's one of my favorites. Another one, I do a lot of like Star Wars cosplays as well. I have some Jedi robes. I pull Anakin Skywalker out from time to time. Also, I have a Padme cosplay as well from Attack of the Clones. And some other cosplays I do. Oh, I do a ton of Supernatural cosplay. That one, some of those are my favorite. Like Castiel is probably my favorite to do from that. I also have a couple versions of Dean Winchester in my back pocket. I got his normal look. Again, my whole closet is just full of flannels. So it's like a Winchester paradise in there. And I also have his gym teacher look when he's in the short shorts and he's chucking dodgeballs at kids. That one's a fun one to do. I also tried an Arcane cosplay once, Vi from Arcane. She's one of my favorite characters of all time. It's like, oh, I gotta try it, you know? So that one's still a work in progress. It's just fun dressing up as other people. Oh, and my latest one, I did Starlight from The Boys.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Which comes out this Wednesday. So excited.
So where are you wearing all these cosplays? What cons do you typically go to?
So usually my favorite one to go to is probably Rhode Island Comic Con. That one is the one I go to the most frequently. Fan Expo Boston is also really cool. I used to go to Springfield Comic Con, but now they don't have it anymore, sadly. So now I'm going to go to Fusion Con, which is going to be in West Springfield this summer. And also Supernatural Con's coming up. That one's probably, I should say that one's my favorite. That one's in Boston as well. And that's just a con solely dedicated to Supernatural.
And it sounds like you could potentially be making costume changes throughout the day if you wanted to.
Sometimes I do, but like it's such, not only do you have to wear the cosplay, you're sweating buckets, and then you gotta lug a bag around with you with a bunch of stuff, all your autographs, all your photo op stuff, all your props, because like I love carrying around like fake weaponry and stuff with my cosplays, and it's a lot sometimes. It's a lot. Last con I went to, Rhode Island Comic Con, I wore go-go boots for my Starlight cosplay. Great for the look. I got a picture with Anthony Starr. It was amazing, but holy crap, did my feet kill by the end of the day. Oh, but worth it for the cosplay.
It's for the art.
For the art. Yes, absolutely.
Well, that is terrific. Lindsey DeLand, It has been terrific having you. Again, I can't thank you enough for being my first guest. Again, to just go over the many things that people can be doing. They can be buying tickets for, I should get the name back out again. They should be buying tickets for Murder at the Mansion, a supernatural mystery written for the S.K. Pierce Haunted Victorian Mansion, or on April 16th, going to, how do you pronounce it again?
Quonk, Northampton.
And going there, and you can see Dark Places with a Q&A afterwards.
Yes. And also, if you can't make it, be sure to check out Dark Places free on Tubi.
And I hear coming to other platforms or already moved on to other
Potentially, yes. We're keeping our fingers crossed, but potentially we can get on Amazon Prime, hopefully.
I mean, in all honesty, I'm fine with Tubi.
Yeah,
they get enough on there.
Tubi's great. I love Tubi.
Well, Lindsey DeLand, thank you again. It has been terrific. Where can people find you online?
Yes, you can find me on Instagram, Facebook. Also, if you check out my IMDb profile as well, there's some stuff on there. Message me, reach out to me. I love to hear from you guys.
After we finished recording, I got to see the images of the different characters with the individual color backdrops. Next time I'll remember to look at stuff like that in advance because the thought put into the costumes and the looks really shows. The characters look great. I also got to hear more details about the ending. Even knowing what I know, I would absolutely go experience it if I could. I hope this isn't the last time Murder at the Mansion, a supernatural mystery, is performed, but as of this recording, you can still see the show at the S.K. Pierce Haunted Victorian Mansion in Gardner, Mass. this Friday, April 10th. One more reminder that Dark Places is available on Tubi. I genuinely cannot thank Lindsey DeLand, actor, writer, director, enough. I edited out so much of my stammering as I shook off the host cobwebs, so I thank her especially for her patience. I forgot to ask her to spell it out, so again, you can find Lindsey on Instagram at Lindsey the Nerd, LINDZTHENERD. You can also go to Instagram or TikTok and check out at My Desire to Inquire for some fun, small conversations with Lindsey. Maybe there's still time to open up bets on the Final Girl Final Four. Thank you very much for listening. I'm going to be honest, I'm not 100% positive that there will be an episode next week, but I assure you I will be back with more soon. I'm still kind of figuring this stuff out. All right, thanks.